So you might wonder how on earth a clicker could convince a stubborn dog to do anything, especially when things like food and toys won't make them change their mind. Well, I think you'll be surprised at what a clicker actually can do. So let me explain. Stubborn behaviour is just a highly determined attitude to perform a specific behaviour. So stubborn dogs can be stubborn about stuff we want just as much as stuff that we don't. The trick is to make them want to do the stuff that we want so they can be just as stubborn about that too. So once they have chosen what they want, they'll keep doing that in the same determined way they did the stuff that we didn't want before. First though, we have to find a way to create a new behaviour, one that actually we prefer to the one that we're trying to change. We could use a cue that you've taught your dog, you could use a lead, you could find a way to dilute the experience for them, or just wait. Actually, this is often the most effective solution to get a new reaction or a new selection of reactions. It's amazing what happens when we just try to wait out a stubborn dog who is not able to do the behavior they normally do. Now they start to become a little bit creative and a little bit experimental. So you can start to see some quite interesting new choices emerge. The trick is just to find the one that you want and be ready for that. So what might this look like? It could be using a long line, for example, to prevent a dog from running after their friends in the park when you're trying to do a recall, or to stop them chasing a jogger or a cyclist. You might use a short lead and keep them close whenever you have visitors so they can't jump up on people. You might choose to stand further away from something that they want to bark at. Maybe they are slightly reactive to other dogs or something like that in the park. So you might create some space so actually they are less triggered and able to make a new choice. You could practice sitting at the front door when there's not even anyone there, when you haven't even pressed the doorbell. That's a great way of diluting a situation in order to help your dog make a better choice. You could use a crate to prevent house training accidents or chewing things that might be dangerous or you don't want to get chewed. Or I've already mentioned patience, but you can use patience to wait out a choice. For example, if your dog wants to go in one direction and you want to go in another, then just waiting until they eventually decide to choose to go your way. This is anchoring, and there could be a good reason for it. So before you do that, check out the blog that I wrote about that, because your dog may be trying to tell you something that's more important. So check that out first. Just to make sure there isn't a good reason while they're doing that behavior that you could address separately. Finally, though, we talked about diluting a situation. You could also turn the volume down on the TV, for example, if your dog is likes to attack TV dogs and animals, or you could use a combination of all of these things. So once you've found a way to create a preferred behavior, then the clicker now comes into its own. We use that to reward the new choice. Stubborn behavior makes the dog feel good. It serves a purpose. That's why they do it. So when you introduce the clicker properly, it will also make the dog feel good when they hear that click. Because when the reward center gets activated, it releases dopamine, which makes the dog feel good. That happens every time we reward them with a treat. So when we pair that up with the clicker then starts to do the same thing. Sounds can be powerful things. Songs from our past can trigger happy feelings. So can the sounds of things like motorbikes revving up. They can also trigger other emotions too. So if a negative association has been made, songs can do that. Loud bangs and whistles can be terrifying for some and bring back brilliant happy memories for others as well. So once paired, when you click your clicker, it will create that awesome happy feeling. And not only that, but it will trigger anticipation of the incoming treat too. Dogs that are stubborn in nature can quickly get addicted to these feelings and become stubborn about the new behavior. So in no time, you'll be able to remove the help, whatever that was, whether it was using a lead, using a crate, patience, distance, or just diluting the experience. And once that's gone, they will start to choose new behavior all by themselves, but with the same determination and stubbornness as they used to with the old behavior. You'll phase the clicker out eventually, but don't rush that. You can't overdo that rewarding feeling. The longer you keep it up, the stronger the desire to choose the new thing will be. So that all sounds really easy, but stuff can go wrong. So for example, you might use your clicker at the wrong time. This happens a lot. You don't use your clicker to get your dog to change his mind. It is a reward. Often people will see their dog barking at the window and start clicking their clicker in the hope that they will stop barking at the window and come and get a treat. If you do it that way, your dog will just want to do more of that barking, more of the stuff that you're trying to change, because that's the moment that is connected to the clicker. So we're going to use your action to inspire the choice. Then you use your clicker as your thank you. So you have to make the dog do what you want them to do first. The clicker rewards the new choice. Other things that can go wrong, maybe you run out of patience. I wish I could bottle patience and sell it. I would be a millionaire. When working with a stubborn dog, you just have to be more stubborn and patient than them. Once you have decided you're going to do something, you must see it through until you get to the bit where the dog gets rewarded for the new choice. If you don't do that, all you're going to do is make things worse and cause a lot of frustration, because what you're now doing is just putting up barriers and making things really hard for your dog. If there's no end resolution, no point to this, your dog will just get annoyed and he'll become more stubborn and double down in the future. The other thing that can go wrong is that you just don't practice enough. Your stubborn dog is not going to suddenly go, oh yeah, I get you, that's better, after just 1 or 2 goes. You need to be consistent so that your dog can reliably expect the same response from you enough times that they start to default to the new choice. If they spot any kind of wobble from you or weakness, they'll just go back to their own choice. It was the one they preferred in the first place. So, choosing is the key. You need to find a way to help your dog choose a new behavior. Then you need to see it through until they do something better and then reward it. Now you just need to repeat, repeat, repeat. You won't change a behavior after just 1 attempt. So just keep on going. Any questions or any comments on this, or you want to tell me about your stubborn dog, pop it into the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye-bye.